Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little different to my previous videos. I want to do a bit of a study today. I want to learn something new and I thought I might as well pop the camera on and get you to come on this adventure with me. So what I want to learn today, or grasp the concept of, is hues. Now there's different things in colour theory like hues, shades, tints, tones, all that stuff, and I won't be educating you on those today, but we will be talking a little on hues. Now hues is like the fully pigmented version of a colour. See how I have these colours here? You can see that the green ones in the middle would be the hue because it is the brightest and most vibrant of the colours. That's probably as far as we're going to get into the science of it, but I want to learn how to make things pop, and that's kind of what we're going to explore. So if you're interested in any of that, I would recommend that maybe you grab your sketchbook as well and join me. So let's get into it. So today I'm just going to be using my sketchbook that I use for most of my drawings. However, I have prepared it for today as well. One section, because I use all these random pages. There we go. So I prefer to use the Strathmore paper when it comes to using these coloured pencils. I think it makes them pop more, and that's why I just thought I'd prepare this, get them stuck in there so that we can use those today. I did give this a tiny little go in the morning, and I found that on this paper, on the sketchbook paper, they just don't pop the way that I want them to. So then I did a little test here on the Strathmore paper, and it's much better. So I was thinking that the first thing we do our little hue study with is a mushroom, because it's something that I'm more comfortable with drawing, which means I think I'll grasp the concept of it a little better, and then we can dive into something a bit more complicated. So when I'm talking about hue colour, I've got some references here. I kind of just mean like from one really strong colour to another, and I've been trying to work on it lately with my watercolour paintings. However, I do find that I'm not achieving that look that I want. We're going to give this a go instead. Now let's do a little bit of theory work. Alright, so here we go. So a hue, we're going from a dark point to a really vibrant point. I've got these highlighters that I want to use. I want to get to a shade as vibrant as these. The only problem might be that my pencils don't blend really nicely. The reason I'm not just doing it with these pencils is because they don't achieve that vibrancy off the bat. So if you look here, you can see what I mean. The highlighters are way more vibrant. So I was thinking we can incorporate the highlights as well into this, but we want to go from like a dark point, maybe something like this, then slowly build it up into a bit of a brighter colour, and then that brighter colour leads to the highlight, something like that. So if we were to do that on an object of a sort, just real quickly. Again, this paper on my sketchbook isn't the best for what I'm trying to achieve here. That's why I've got these set up as well. I'm going to practice on those. But that's kind of the idea. Now, with the bottom of the mushroom, maybe just like a grey colour would work. See, normally I just draw with whatever colour I want, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm good at it. So with this drawing that I have here, I'm not happy with that. It's really dull, and I didn't understand what I was doing, and I want to have better awareness when it comes to using colours, because it is something that I haven't been comfortable with using. This is a study because I want to get better at it. I wasn't sure if I wanted these drawings to be outlined or not, but since this is just the testing period, we can give it a go. I'll add a more stylized look rather than a soft look. I'm just a bit worried that if we outline it, it's gonna take from that highlight there, see? So maybe, see how I didn't add that line there? Maybe we should stick to something like that. And also have that black point. But it's all trial and error. You just gotta find what you prefer. And then it also comes down to your style, of course. What sort of lines you use, textures, all that stuff. Now, the beauty of this Strathmore paper is the blending. That's something I wasn't able to achieve in this quick little mushroom here. On my first little square of Strathmore paper, I did two gradients. I did a warmer toned gradient and a cooler toned gradient. I also found that the highlighter did blend in very well with these pencils on the Strathmore paper. Like, you can't really tell that the highlighter is a different medium. It just blends really nicely. For this next little sketch, I did a mushroom again. I did use the cooler toned palette because I found that aesthetically it appealed to me a little more than the warmer toned one. And I was quite happy with the process of it. It looked like that vision that I had, so I'm happy with it. And I decided to try out a black background, which I did end up liking because I think it makes that colour pop even more. In my final little test study, I drew a face. It didn't go too well, but I discovered a great liking to this blue and green colour palette, and I did officially decide that I want to do a portrait as my final project. So here's a bit of what we've done so far. Just learning how to put the values down and find the colours that work best with each other. So I find that the green looked really nice with the blue, and the cooler tones definitely looked better than the warmer tones because they just make that pop. I keep talking about the pop. We want this pop to happen, you know? So now I think we can get into something a bit more ambitious and give it a proper go, because I feel a bit more confident with how to achieve those qualities that I'm after. I'm thinking that we do a portrait. Let's do it. With this final project, I did do a portrait. I just drew a face that I had in my mind. I didn't really use a reference at all for it. The only reference that I had really was just for the colours. So I had a face that had that similar resemblance of the hues that I wanted to achieve. I do tend to draw faces often in my sketchbook, and this portrait here is drawn in that kind of style that I do all the time. I used the Prismacolor pencils for this and started colouring the darker points of the face. I decided I liked the blue and green colours more than the pink one, so that's the palette that I use for this character. Things have been a little rough lately, so my characters tend to kind of reflect the whereabouts of my mental state. I see the colour as hope though. I had a lot of fun pouring these vibrant colours onto such a sad character. I think it ended up creating a nice juxtaposition. I'm going to shush now and we can enjoy some close-up scenes of the final drawing. I didn't film an outro, but I hope you enjoyed the drawing. I hope you enjoyed my company, and if you did like this video, give it a like, maybe give it a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.